What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review, and today another Xunge VOD review. We're back in with the Chinese VOD reviews. Look at this beautiful quality, man. I'm so happy. I found a website that allows me to VOD review Chinese players, and it's so nice. All right, we got this one. That's this top one, right? Because I did translate these all already. It says Lokai Prelude, so this must be some kind of prelude, but that's, I don't know if that's the, no, okay, it's this one. It's Artifact Report Maker. Okay, so it is Artifact Anvil is our portal here. Okay, it's just a little bit hard, all right? It's not my fault. I mean, but whatever. But okay, so Artifact Anvil start gonna be very, very interesting. And in general, I don't know. I just want to VOD review more Xunge. He's just so fun to watch. He always does some crazy stuff when he's playing TFT. So yeah, no cam on today though. So I never know. I mean, I can't read account names, so I have to assume this is Xunge. It was on his channel. But I mean, the other thing that I wanted to talk about actually is that I looked at the Chinese regional like ladder, and Xunge is actually rank 1 right now, which is crazy. All right, we pop our Artifact Anvil, though. Let's get into this. But rank 1 Xunge, what a beast. Some kind of crummy options, especially looking at our items right now. We have all of these like AUD focused items, which is why Xunge is looking towards holding on to these other units here, these like potential shapeshifters and like hunters openers and stuff like that. But we're stuck with prowlers, which is not a great item in general. 2 AP items and then an innervating locket. I guess you have to look at innervating locket here as like a kind of tank item, and this can go onto some kind of caster later. And that is what Xunge looks for here, so that makes sense. All right, first augment here. Warrior +1. I don't know if this is still very good. We don't actually have anything as far as warriors, I believe. So yeah, Xunge's gonna reroll that immediately. We do have the shapeshifter Eternal Growth, I think this is called, augment. This could actually be a sick take for Eternal Growth here. That would be so cool. We'll see. Combat Caster and Caretakers, both obviously very, very solid. Just generic augments and Caretakers can get us to our BIS. I don't know that Combat Caster is that good in Shapeshifters, but I guess we'll see. Ooh! He is, and he does. He goes for the Eternal Growth here. Yes, indeed. All right, this is gonna be a fun one. Looking to slam the ooh, and this is really, really interesting. So he's going, and he's going to level here. So this does not look like it's going to be a reroll game, but one thing that Xunge is believing in here, which I think is so important, is the power of this Jace unit early. This Jace unit, I don't know how he has stayed this strong for so long, but look at the cast that he's getting off with this locket. He is just a monster here with this LW as well. It's a solid slam early, picks up a Shyvana, oh my god, and a Nico here. So now we can just play 4 Shape as his board, get, you know, Eternal Growth value galore, get all these guys scaled up. And the other thing to think about is that Eternal Growth, used to be a little bit worse of an augment because we have all these items slammed on Jace, but we would have to sell this Jace to move items. We don't have to do that anymore with all of these removers that are flying around in the game. So we can just slam these items onto Jace, and then boom, we can just keep the same Jace on our board, and he'll have all the same tank stats. And say we play 6 Shape down the line, this will be great. So this is going to be a very, very fun game to see how he ends up playing around the shapeshifter setup, and you know how he gets in and out of it later. The next level up is of course going to be that Nomzi back in. But I mean, for now, we're just chilling on this board. Very, very solid. And yeah, just using the Jace, do everything we can. It's such an interesting little setup, but just getting the faster cast on Jace. Ooh, we are facing, man, I guess China really likes Syndra because this guy is also, I mean, I don't know if this guy's going to end up playing Syndra real, though they are holding a Cassiopeia as well. So maybe it is another Syndra game from them. And Xunge thinking about holding onto the Cassiopeia, but I mean, it's too expensive. We can't hold it. And yeah, he's just going to put into his board now. This Shapeshifter board, this is a board that I think a lot of people, it's very controversial, I would say. I think there are a lot of people who like this comp and who like playing towards it, and there are a lot of people who say like it sucks and it's a bait and like don't play for it. We have a Gargoyles that I guess we could pick up here is probably the best slam in the spot, especially because we don't need Even Shroud anymore because we made LW. So that makes sense. Also, another Nico is great, going to get in the Nomzi here, which makes sense, and just hold on to all of this stuff. So I mean, yeah, this is the spot. Also looks like Xunge is not interested in Eternal Growthing the Nomzi just because it would make our positioning too awkward, which I think makes sense. It's also very likely that Nomzi will not end up on our late game board, though he can come back in like late game But I mean, for most of the game, playing the Namzi is just kind of tough. So I think this makes sense. Okay, I don't know what we're looking up on Baidu.com here, but can we get back to the game, man? Okay, thank you. But hey, an easy 4 streak here looks great, and all just because we're playing around this chase with this item sim. I think just so smart from Xunge to recognize we had a Namzi. And I think a lot of people would have slammed the LW on Namzi because it's more of like, you know, Namzi's the backline AD damage dealer. So put items on Namzi. But Chase is just an absolute monster. And we get to combine items. This is something that the best players at TFT do, is they say, I have 3 items. I could either put, you know, a 1-item Namzi and a 2-item Jace, or a 3-item Jace. And 3-item Jace is so much better. I mean, look at this. This is a 5 mage board that we are stomping. Also, pulling up the tactics.tools. This is the second time we've seen Xunge do this. It looks like Xunge is becoming a stats lord. This is crazy, because I feel like Chinese players used to always be talked about as the players who would not look at stats. You know, we're really not interested in looking at stats in TFT, because, you know, oh, they're just like, you know, intuition is better, and like the stats websites, you know, aren't as easy to access in China. But now, I mean, I feel like we keep seeing Xunge look at this stuff. Also, ooh, so many pairs here. I'm really curious to see what Xunge's rolls look like, you know, if he's interested in rolling a 3-2 here, because look at our bench here. Namzi pair, Shyvana pair, Nico pair here. We can also look for other stuff to add onto this board, like a solid hunter. There's a lot to add, and Xunge making the call here not to early level. He does a really good scout of the rest of the lobby and says, look, this guy, there's no way I'm losing to this guy. He's even, wow, this is so nice, holding on to that Giant's Belt. It's very disciplined, because I think I would just say, I'm obviously winning this fight, but Xunge's saying, you know, if it ends up making a fight diff, and look, this fight was not that far off, I'm going to slam this Giant's Belt. So very smart here. Next, Augment here. Inspiring Epitaph should be quite good in this comp because you have so much HP to play with, and I don't think the other 2 augments are very good. We do pick up, you have my bow, which doesn't seem great. We've already made LW, so we don't really need another bow here. There is Balanced Budget, which could be used. This is a comp that does very well in Fast 9, so you could look, I like Balanced Budget here, I think even over Epitaph here. And yeah, I think Xunge's going to go for it with the idea that Shapeshifter Fast 9 is the way to play if you can. Also, ooh, this is an interesting call here. He decides to get Witchcraft in over the Hunter here, with the idea is that it's only a Namzi 1. Why would I actually play around Hunter when I could play Witchcraft, which is always going to do something on my board? It's gonna, you know, debuff all the enemy front lines and basically do, you know, damage to every single unit that gets debuffed by Witchcraft, whereas, you know, a little bit of Hunter, is that going to do that much? I don't know. Still, Xunge looking at this really diligent Giant's Belt slam. He opts to not go for it here because it's just not winnable at this point. These units, these multi-strikers with the trench coat, is just so hard to beat, especially with no combat augment. So we are finally going to lose a fight there, but the damage has been done to the lobby. We have 6 streaked with an econ augment now, so it's gonna be very easy for us to push level 8 and potentially level 9. We'll see what the rest of our game looks like, but now we're fighting some stronger boards, and, you know, our board's falling off a little bit. But okay, so we can talk more a little bit more about the Shapeshifter comp. I would just say, you know, there's so many people who like the Fast 9 version of this comp, so it makes so much sense that Xunge did take econ augment second. The reason why is because 5 costs are essential to this. The difference between having this comp and hitting Smolder and hitting Elise, and then not hitting those, is night and day. If you don't hit those, you are just cruising for a bot 4. If you do hit those, you can actually potentially win out the lobby. Bo picked up here. It was actually pretty interesting here that Xunge decided to go for Bo here, because there's not an obvious slam. The upside is we do get Nico too, and I guess that's just why he took it, with the other idea that maybe it can be something down the line for Smolder. Smolder, Gwinsu is not as good on Smolder anymore, but you know, still completely fine. And ooh, Xunge, yeah, this is beautiful. Now that he has a better tank for this Innervating Locket, he's going to move the Innervating Locket over to the Nico. Also, I really hope, because I always get Innervating Locket and then another one confused. So if I'm saying the wrong one, I'm sorry. I mean, I can't look at the name. It's Innervating Locket and Forbidden Idol. I always get the names confused, but I think this one is Locket. Yeah, because it's a little locket, right? Surely. But in any case, we win this fight. Ooh, another really cute addition to this board, getting Cassidon online here. We get to play 3 Portal on this board, so a really cool addition. I think so many people just also play the default Hunter version, because Hunter, I mean, you play Hunter, but why play Hunter here? We don't have any items onto the Namzi. There's no reason to play it when we could actually end up just playing Witchcraft and Portal. So just a really masterful understanding of strongest board here for Xunge. Ends up actually allowing him to win these next 2 fights, which is fantastic when you think about the fact that he's econ augment here, because he's going to get another big bunch of econ here. Look at it, 80 gold here, where we can go level 8 at 4-1, and we're still going to have about 50 50 gold left over. So the fast 9 looks very easy. Also hitting that Nico 2. In hindsight, I mean, he high rolled double Nico shot, but didn't even need it. He took the Nico 2 with the bow because that'll also make his fast 9 so much easier. Now that he has the Nico 2, it's very, very easy for him to push levels. He can take this for I guess that's refresh all your units with 2 costs, and he's looking for 1 extra addition to the board. But yeah, it's not even going to be like, you know, a random hunter that we held on to. Also, the IE slam looks great. We're going to throw that onto the Jace here. And then tier, probably just redemption, right? Yep, slam this, and our items are looking cool. Don't need to make any kind of heal cut because we are very likely going to be playing Dragons later. I also don't know what this client is. This is like a DouYu client or something like that. That's got some weird stuff in it, but I mean, whatever. Oh, that's like his streaming platform order. But hey, 61 gold here, 84 HP. The spot is looking great. Last augment here. I mean, Call to Chaos could be fun. Any of the econ options would allow us to push levels faster, but then it would put us in double econ. I don't think it's ever Pandora's here. Ascension is interesting to me because I think you do have pretty good, obviously, frontline when you're playing around Shapeshifters. I'm down to just pull up a little Explorer tab, filter 6 Shapeshifter, do 6 plus just in case we see other stuff, and then see how good Ascension looks as the last augment. 4.02 when the average is 4.35 is great, actually. Yeah, it certainly looks like one of the better augments, so I fully expect to see a final Ascension take here. We also have a decent amount of tank items, so I think that makes sense as a combat augment in this spot. So yeah, I think you just have to go for that as Xunge here. I mean, the stats say it's one of the best augments, and we already have a lot of frontline here. Radiant Relics, fine, but we're pretty good on items. He's gonna go for the Call to Chaos, though. Oh my god, and he gets okay, there's a lot going on here. He finds Brier here on 8, which is obviously very good, and he gets triple Hull Crusher, so it might be, yup, he's gonna go for the full triple Hull Crusher. Brier is gonna be the build. I mean, I think this makes perfect sense. The Brier is going to be a monster here, though we didn't actually give her the Hull Crusher value this round because Xunge took too long, which is so tragic because it's so much value, and he's immediately now feeding this Brier here. I mean, you can see the value in being able to do something like fast 8 when you play this comp, because, you know, he obviously found the Brier on 8. You know, if you have to roll earlier than that, your game becomes a lot harder. Obviously, naturally, a Brier without rolling at all is a bit high roll, and picking up this Varus here is great, but it's not really about you know, I will defend the high roll. He's still not positioning for Hull Crusher here, right? What's I don't understand what Xunge's doing here with these Hull Crushers. Does he want to lose the fights? I can't imagine that he wants to lose. Man, I mean, maybe he's just talking to Twitch chat or something, but come on, Xunge, focus up, man. You're doing everything so beautifully, and then you just have a triple Hull Crusher Brier that you don't want to position for, which is that's so weird to me. I mean, there's no explaining not positioning for it. But okay, looking for last Varus item here. Red buff, I wonder what you actually go for here. I ended up in this spot where I was thinking about playing Shapeshifters, but I already, like, do you go for red buff here? Do you just go for, like, GS or something? Because yeah, I mean, GS seems fine. These items will likely move to Smolder down the line, so I think so. Okay, he clicked on Brier. I think he realized, but it's funny that he just moved Brier to backline. Okay, now he's going to move the Brier over and make sure that she gets the value. Okay, very, very good. It took us a while. It's funny the things, you know, he can very, very seamlessly play early game beautifully, make all the slams that make sense, and then, you know, he can end up just, you know, misplacing the Hull Crusher for a few rounds, which is hilarious. Also, he's gonna opt to not slam the Giant Slayer here, so maybe looking for something better as a final item here. Like I said, these items will ideally end up onto another champion here. Also, man, this Rakan board is so rough for us as we're pushing levels because we kill nothing. We're down to 39 HP. Remember, we were very, very healthy here, but we're also feeding Brier every round because Xunge is that confident here. I mean, he already has 6 shape, which is obviously really, really big, so I can see why he would do this, but it's a bit scary. It is a bit scary, but also, I mean, look at the HP on this Brier, man. She is, I mean, Xunge hasn't clicked her, but look at the little lines that she has on her, especially after the cast when she shapeshifts, man. This Brier is going to be a monster late game, especially if we keep beating her, keep giving her all of that HP to work with and all that damage to work with. She is, yeah, a monster here, and we are going to win this fight, which is really good for us because look at this, 100 gold. But I would just say, you know, obviously we high rolled a little bit in our earlier fights, but the thing that Xunge has done, he's put himself in a great spot. Even if he hadn't high rolled the Brier, he'd be a little bit lower HP. Obviously, wouldn't have been able to feed her, but he's guaranteed to hit Brier on this roll down, which is what's really important. Finding that Brier and finding that Smolder is so important for this board. He even removes these items off of Nico with the idea of maybe moving over to Nasus, though he does pick up another Nico, so maybe he can look for Nico 3 here. All right, here's the roll down. Picks a bunch of 4 costs. There is a Varus 2, which is great. Picks up a random Morgana to throw in off the board because we haven't actually found Smolder yet. There's Nasus 2, who will be our main tank. We really need to find that Smolder there. there's Brier pair, which is nice. So he is actually just going to put that down. And these items are going to go on Nasus. And I'm curious where the other items end up going here. Gwinsu's with the idea that that's going to go on Smolder later. And then he's got all these components left over. Who do you itemize at this point? I guess you can just go something like a Shojin, and the idea is that that's going to go on Varus later, and then these items are going to go on Smolder. But we're so far off of hitting Smolder 2. We're nowhere near. We don't have Smolder 1 yet, so where's Smolder 2 going to come from? There's Brier 2 though, so yeah, he's going to make the hard call in this spot to end up selling off his Nikos. Nico 3 would have been great, but this is, perfectly fine, and he wants to keep feeding this Brier here. Ooh, remover here with the idea that he is going to make a Shojin. Yep, and the Gwinsu, yeah, I think this makes perfect sense with the idea that Gwinsu is going to go onto Smolder later. It feels bad, but Shojin is a much better item onto Varus here. We're also fighting a pretty scary board. Can this Brier, she's so tanky, but I don't know if she can get through everybody. No, we're going to lose this fight down to 1. Oh my god, it is 5-2, and we are 1 HP, but boom, there's the Smolder. There's the Gwinsu onto Smolder. This is also something, let me just do a quick stats check for you guys. A few things. Okay, first, let's look at Smolder himself. So, Smolder, when you get that upgrade, it basically upgrades the number of attacks that you are getting these stacks on. So that's one thing to talk about. But another thing that I want to talk about is just Smolder himself. If you look at Smolder's itemization, if you take out 6 shape in general, Gwinsu's Rageblade is actually like not the best item to build on Smolder. You see stuff like Renan's having much better stats, even like Deathblade, Guardbreaker. Gwinsu's Rageblade is actually like kind of not ideal. Though I thought something was interesting is that if you put 3 Dragon into the stats, like it gets a little bit better for whatever reason. Now it's like about the same as stuff like Last Whisper. And then I wonder if you put 6 shape in, how it does. It gets a little bit worse actually. Maybe do tier 3+ just to include like 8 shape and stuff like that. But yeah, I think when you're playing in the shape board, the Gwinsu actually does quite well. But still, statistically important to point out, stuff like Renan's Hurricane, stuff like Giant Slayer, stuff like Deathblade does do a lot better in the statistics. I don't remember if Xunge had the ability to go something like a Renan's instead of a Gwinsu's here, but it's something to keep in mind. The statistics actually say that Gwinsu's Rageblade is actually not the best item you can go for Smolder. Now, you could maybe make the argument that, especially as a first item, Gwinsu's is fantastic, and we have such a tanky frontline here with all of these Shapeshifters, and especially this insanely tanky Brier and this triple item Nasus, that maybe it is the correct call. I mean, I think, there's a lot of arguments to be made. Next item for Smolder here, we already have Last Whisper. I have to imagine you just take the GS Smolder here. There's a Smolder pair with one of his best items, so this looks fantastic for us here. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it might be Smolder's best item. And boom, there's Smolder 2. Oh, it was so scary getting here, but now we are here. We are max cap Shapeshifter board. How good how high can we cap out this game? Because we fed Brier a lot, but we can't feed her anymore because we're at 1 HP. But hey, there's not much we can do with this board. Xunge makes a great call here to actually not roll for Charm because his board's so strong that he's just going to say, you know what? I'm also so poor that if I roll here, I'll probably have to sell this Jace to pick up a Charm here. So I'm just going to chill here. I don't really think he can go level 10 in this spot. But what he can do is just accrue enough econ that he can, just play for Charms later. Picks up this Charm. I didn't even see what this was. Was this the one that... Oh no, this is just the one that gives a unstable treasure chest. Okay, I mean, very, very good for the Elise. Also... kind of a scary shapeshifter, or not shapeshifters, but multi-striker board, which Xunge doesn't swap. He is also fighting, oh my god, this Innervating Locket Wukong here. The upside is we have this Smolder here. Now it's a 3-item Smolder, and oh my god, this board just blows through the Wukong in seconds, man. The Smolder, the Brier, and the Varus. You saw in the damage chart there, Smolder was most damage, just easily out-damaging the Varus, even though for some of the beginning of the fight, Smolder was only 2-item. The Smolder unit, especially with 3 Dragon, and 3 Dragon is such a big spike. I think here, this is another thing I can do in the little stats check to show you guys. If you look up at traits here and look up Dragon, this is one of the biggest swings that you will see. 1.6 placement swing just from going from 2 to 3 Dragon. You very obviously, going up in traits will usually give you better stats because that just means you've gotten to higher levels. That means you've gotten more stuff in. But a 1.6 placement swing from almost 1 positive delta to almost 1 negative delta is huge here. Probably just gonna be the double Gwinsu for Smolder. Like I said, not Smolder's best item, but not much else we can take there. And I mean, I think this is a board where you could make an argument that Gwinsu is really, really good because we're gonna have a lot of time to ramp. All right, we fight this guy again. Actually, we just fought their clone and now we're fighting them again. Unless this is another person with Wukong 3, Jinx 3, which I don't think is very likely. This is actually pretty close though, because they had that was Tremors, or unless that was us with Tremors. Somebody had Tremors in that fight. Obviously, it's kind of hard for me to read charms in Chinese, though. I can read that charm. That is a charm that gives a big golem that is really, really broken. One of the best charms in the game. So this is fantastic for us, especially because we've locked in top 4. But, you know Xunge. Xunge is not playing for just 4th, man. Xunge is playing for the dub. Great quick swap over here. The only downside is we're a little bit clumped versus the Cinder, giving her a decent AoE value, but I don't think she can get through the Brier, man. Yeah, insane work. Also, was another Cinder board. Man, Cinder is so... is rated pretty highly in China. It's so interesting to see because I think in NA, this comp is rated so lowly. And that's a Vanguard Cinder board, actually. Yeah, so interesting to see the priority on this comp in other regions, just because NA nobody's playing this. But I mean, the comp is top 3, maybe top 2. We'll see. Depends on how Xunge does versus this player and how they do versus the other player. Because yeah, the other player, the Cinder player is going to be fighting Clone here. Xunge is just destroying this guy, man. It's light work. And then it looked like the Cinder player lost a Clone there. Shapeshifter emblem. We don't actually have much to do with Shapeshifter emblem. I guess you could take it because we don't have much else, but like this is just a +1. This just allows us to say like play something over the Elise, or like, I don't know, I guess we could get Eldritch in by cutting Swain, but then you have to cut Swain. Like, yeah, what do you even really play on this board? I feel like there's not that much. Maybe you yeah, I think you might just do this, throw it onto Namzi here and play 7 shape with the idea of, I don't know, if we get the charm, maybe we could play for something else. But I mean, these fights were so good for us early. As long as our team doesn't clump up and get AoE'd by Cinder, I think we'll be perfectly fine. Even then, I think it's going to be light work for Xunge. The 1 HP from 7th place to 1st place comeback. I mean, it was just a beautiful Shapeshifter game from Xunge. A beautiful fast 9 with the Econ Augment, with the strong opener, great slams, just a perfectly played game from Xunge, minus the 2 rounds where he didn't get Hull Crusher value. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check my Twitch. I'll have the links down below. Thank you guys, as always, for watching.